If you are somebody who wants to grow your social media, and social media has been something that's kind of been on your mind, I wanted to gift this to you. This is a keynote presentation that I did for a group of entrepreneurs who all have personal brands or aspire to have personal brands, and they're looking to really take their business to the next level through their personal brand. So no matter what stage of social media or business you're in, you can get a lot out of this keynote presentation. It is a little long, but it's filled with a ton of value. And at the end, there's actually a Q&A that I think kind of summarizes the whole thing. So if you're looking for some good, strong social media strategy in 2024, this is the video you're going to want to watch. Please like, share, subscribe, comment your biggest takeaways, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Enjoy the video. I'm excited to serve all of you today. My one goal from this talk is really to help you get into action. And before we kind of get into it, I have just a handful of small questions for you guys, and feel free to put them in the chat. I actually have a virtual studio. I can see all your faces. So if your cameras aren't on, turn them on. I have a huge TV here. I can see the chat. And it's really kind of a cool thing I built that came out of a hard experience, AKA COVID, when, you know, the world tells you you can't serve, you find a way, right? So turn your cameras on if you could. I like connecting with the energy. That's kind of how I work. But I have a question for you, and you can show of hands and in the chat. Who wants to make more money in their business? Okay. How much more money do you want to make? Put it in the chat. 5,000 extra per month, 10,000 extra per month. And if you're comfortable sharing, and again, you can just do this part with a show of hands. How many of you are already earning close to 6 figures or 6 figures in your business? Anybody? A couple of you? How many of you are earning multiple 6 figures? Any millionaires? Okay, no worries. How many of you have at least 10,000 followers on Instagram? Okay, almost everybody. How many of you have over 50,000? Okay, cool. So I just want to get a gauge of where everyone's at, because everyone's at different levels and on different timelines. But like I said, my goal for you today is to get into action. You know, I've spent the last now 11 years of my life working with some of the biggest spiritual leaders, conscious, leaders, thought leaders, coaches, literally in the world. Joe Dispenza is just one out of the many I've worked with and served. And I can tell you that there's really no difference between a big coach who's the Joe Dispenzas, the Tony Robbins of the world, from somebody who's just at that kind of early stage of $5,000 to $10,000, or 5,000 to 10,000 followers on their social media. Because what I've really found is that every single person, no matter how big or how small they all have limiting beliefs. And when it comes to conscious creators, when it comes to people who, serve maybe something more spiritual, or they're a coach, or it's a service-based business, those people who have the biggest hearts, who want to serve the most, tend to actually make the least amount of impact. And the reason for that isn't because they're not able to make impact. They just choose not to because of the limiting beliefs. And one of those biggest limiting beliefs is selling. Who here, when they hear that word, just is like, holy shit, that word just makes me cringe? Has anyone got that little like, selling? Be honest, come on, I know you're out there. Yes, we all do at times, right? And my goal for today is to help diminish that kind of limiting belief that that's bad. There's nothing wrong with selling. Everybody sells to you every single day, whether you're in a religion, whether you're a politician. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. You're not getting out without selling. Some people sell fear. Some people sell hope. Some people sell transformation. And if you don't love what you sell, then in my views, you're not serving at the highest level. Because if you take selling out of the equation, and if I all asked you, who here has a bad feeling about serving, would anybody raise their hand? Of course not. No. This is what you're here for. This is what you're made for. But selling is serving. So hopefully by the end of this, you can really not just understand that intellectually, but you can really embody that. Who's up for this? You in? All right, cool. So if your cameras aren't on, turn them on. Love to see you all. And I'm just going to ask you a variety of questions. So we already answered, do you want to make more money? And James, you can pull up the slides. The answer is yes. Let's go to question number 2. Do you want to impact more people? I already know the answer. Yes. Question number 3. How do you currently generate leads? Put it in the chat. I want to see, do you do ads? Do you do email marketing? Do you do social media? Just give me all the ways you generate leads. I'm just curious. And the more you give me, the more I can serve you throughout the time we have here. So don't be shy. Don't bite. Email, social media, cool. Spotify, my website, events, social media, video connection, ads, cool. Social media. Okay, beautiful. Awesome. Next slide. So why should you listen to me? Why does any of this matter? You guys all know Brian. Let's just take a look at what happened to, just from a follower standpoint, to his business once he started working with me. Now, I didn't give Brian something he doesn't already have. I didn't give Brian any super slick 2023 crazy content hack that you're missing out on. I didn't give Brian anything special. I just helped Brian change some beliefs about his content and how he was posting. That's literally all it was. I didn't give him anything special. And Brian's just a small example, and he's a great example. He's more than doubled his following. But what's really cool about this is that, the numbers are great. We see those numbers like, holy shit, this is crazy. He's almost at 700,000 now, I believe. But what's more cool to me is that what that translates to in my mind is that he's serving more people. And as a byproduct of that, he's making more money. And that's how it should be. The more people you serve, the more money you make. Now, here's the thing with Brian, is that before, us working with each other, it wasn't that I didn't want to serve people, it wasn't that I didn't know how to. He just wasn't deciding to use his social media as a means to increase his service, aka his selling. He was selling from time to time, this and that. But through our strategy and what we built out, we just built out the plan where it was like, look, you're going to sell weekly. You're going to sell bi-daily. Every other day you're going to be selling something. And at first it was like, I don't want to do that. But once you align the strategy of adding value to people's lives with selling on the backside of that, it doesn't feel like selling. It feels like, you know what? Hey, this is my awesome content. If you like it, come do my thing. It's free for 7 days or whatever it might be. And this applies to every offer, not just the app or not just, a webinar or whatever you're selling or a product. This applies to every offer you're doing. If you want to live life at the highest potential, you want to serve people the most, you want to give back, and you want to make a lot of money and make this your full-time thing and make it a very successful business, you got to be willing to play the game. And a lot of people hear that, they go, oh man, I don't want to do that. Well, if you don't want to do that, you're not going to be relevant. We all know it. The economy is moving more towards a creator economy. Small business is changing, big business is changing. People are wanting to work with influencers more than ever. It's like 84% of all companies rely on personal brand to sell their products. This is real. And with the Joe Dispenzas of the world, the Aubrey Marcuses of the world, the Michael Beckwiths of the world, the Bob Proctors of the world, even the Tony Robbins of the world, I talked with Tony, and I was like, dude, you're playing small, man. You say that to Tony Robbins, it's like, whoa. But it's true. And where they're playing small and where maybe some of you may be playing a little small is with your social media. This is a way to reach people in a way that's never been possible ever in your whole life. And for the most part, it's free. There's some labor in terms of time. Maybe you pay an editor or maybe you do it yourself. But if you want to really beat this game, you have to play it. A lot of people spend their time trying to run from the game, and that just doesn't really serve anybody at the highest level. Now, some people say, I don't want to do social media. That's not me. That's so ego, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's ego to think I shouldn't do that because of a judgment when in reality I could serve more people if I got out of my own way. And I have these conversations with conscious people all the time because they hate this stuff. I get it. I'm conscious too. I live this life too. I love all this stuff as well. But at the same time, I want to serve as many people as possible. And I know in my heart and my soul, when I kind of peel back the cover of what Anton wants, I realize I got to get out of my own way. I got to put myself out there. I have helped people build personal brands, but I don't even really have a massive personal brand because it's like I've spent all my time investing into people. But this last year, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make sure that all this stuff I'm doing for people, all these ways I'm making people all this money, that I can also do it for myself. Like after like 10 years of doing it, I was like, let me see what I got. So last year, I turned on my personal brand. And in the first year, in an industry that is completely unrelated to everything I've ever done in my life, I made $500,000 in a new business with 17,000 followers. That's not magic. That's strategy. Because I understand the game. I've been doing it long enough where it's like, anybody can get good at anything if they have the proper strategy. The issue is most people just don't have the proper strategy. And the secondary thing to that is they don't have the proper belief, which comes first. So next slide. Is this making sense so far? Cool. So why isn't your business flourishing? And, when we hear that, there's a million things that our mind goes to. It goes, it's the economy's fault, it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. But it really comes down to two things in my experience. You don't have the correct beliefs, and you may lack the proper strategies. That's all it comes down to. Now, here's the cool thing. Next slide. A good strategy works even if you don't believe in it. A good strategy works even if you don't believe in it. So a lot of times in the beginning, especially working with entrepreneurs who are more conscious in their approach to life, their emotions get away of practical principles of business, practical principles of social media. Hey, you do this long enough over a period of time and you just stay consistent with it, eventually you'll get a result. Here's the issue. They're a week in, they're 2 weeks in, they haven't seen anything, so they're not getting that kind of, reaffirmation that it's working. They're not getting the feedback loop, so their energy drops. And then what does that do? It lowers their belief. And then what does that do to the strategy? It says, it doesn't work. No, you didn't see it through. Or maybe you're not applying the right thing, so you're never seeing it kind of give you that feedback that it takes. So a good strategy works even if you don't believe in it. And I have proven this to almost everybody I've worked with because most people have an emotional-based opinion about what something is, or, they think their situation is unique. Well, that's not me, or this is my brand, or this is the thing I do, and that's different. And that very thing, that very mindset actually keeps them in a very stuck place where they don't reach the people they could reach and they don't make the money they want to make. I am not ashamed to claim that you should be making multiple 6 and 7 figures in your business. There is nothing wrong with that mindset at all. You're in business to make money, but the cool thing about your business is that you make more money as a byproduct of the people you serve. So really all creating a more profitable business, in my beliefs, is just a lot of reframes. You know how to build your business. I don't need to tell you. Yeah, there's going to be some things I shared today that you can go implement, but a lot of the reason why you're not doing it is because of what's going on in here. That's really what it comes down to at the end of the day, for the most part. Next slide. So this is a cool kind of statistic. 84% of consumers believe that a company's reputation is influenced by the personal brand of its employees, reported by Forbes. Here's the reality. You are your company. You are your company. Yes, you may have employees, but at the end of the day, a personal brand is you. You are the person. So, how is your brand influencing your company? Every aspect of it. I can tell you every single aspect of it. Next slide. So, here is the magical formula I shared with Brian and so many others over the past decade of now doing this. Stupid, simple strategies that make you more money. Make content providing people value. Do it daily. Mix in your offer every third day. Oh my gosh, magical. when I was working with Brian and we kind of were digging under the hood of his business, and this is not just Brian, this is almost every person I've worked with. The first question is, okay, how's business? It's okay. It's going good. It's going great. Where's it going good? Where's it going bad? Those are the first things I'm looking at. Then the next question is, how often are you selling? Like, how often are you telling people about your offers? How often are you actually posting about what it is you sell? And 9 times out of 10, most people, they don't even know. They're like, well, a couple times a month, maybe every other day on my story. There is no plan. And because of that, you drift through life. If you don't have a clear, concise aim, you will be pulled by other things that will get in the way because you're an emotional creature. But if you have a principle in your business, and I want to give it to you today, just make it simple for yourself. Every third day on my social media, on my email list, on my whatever, I'm selling. And a sale is many different things, which I'll go into on the next slide. But make that commitment to yourself today. If you could walk away with one thing, I'm here to tell you, all of you, no matter how big, how small your following is, there's money out there that's waiting to land in your hands. Your customers, your fans just don't know what you sell. We see this time in and time out through Brian's brand. Every single time he posts about his app, there are multiple comments that say, oh my God, I didn't know you had an app. Now, Brian's obviously an outlier because he has a huge following, but that applies across the board. My following's small. Every time I do something, host a retreat or whatever, do a call, or I have a men's group, every time I post about it, I didn't know you do that. I didn't know you have this. I didn't know. I'm like, dude, I tell you about it all the time. But that's the thing about people is like, we're all caught up in our own world. It's like, oh yeah, you know everything that's happening in your world. Of course you do. But the average person, they're following all these influencers all the time. They're getting pulled in a million different directions. They don't know what's going on in your business and in your life. Unless you're in their face every freaking day telling them nonstop. That is the truth. And Brian has done such a great job of this over the past 3-4 months. And he's done even a better job of his brand as a whole. If you look at Brian's business and you look at Brian as an individual and as an influencer, he has his signature thing. We all know it. Hey, fuckers, that is Brian's, like, Nike, just do it. That is Brian's thing. And there was a moment in a period in time throughout his business where people in his life were actually encouraging him to stop that, to don't go that direction, to don't do that. And I was like, dude, that is some of the worst advice I have ever heard. What that did for Brian is it made his brand be recognizable so it can pierce through the noise. And that takes owning your authenticity. I was like, Brian, dude, you're not the typical yogi, man. Like, we all know this. So what are you? Well, you're kind of an outlier. You're kind of in your own lane. You're kind of like the, everyday American yogi. And if you can double down on that niche, you're going to build something that nobody else will have, and you're in your own lane. And Taz is kind of in that universe as well, where it's like these two guys are just in their own lane. They don't really have a lot of competition because they have niched down so hard and really owned their brand. And when you do that, when you create kind of a thing you're known for, you build something that you can reap a lot of rewards. So let's go to the next slide. So what is an offer? I just told you every third day, make an offer. So what is an offer? An offer is just simply selling, and you can sell in multiple different ways. And when I say sell, it just means a call to action. Something as simple as join my email list. That is selling. Another one would be join my free workshop. Although it's free, this is still selling. Making an offer is making a call to action. Like, you're telling them to do something. You're telling them, hey, leave this platform, enter my universe in a new way. Another way is like, hey, download my app. Free for 7 days or whatever it might be. Or, hey, join my paid workshop. Another way is, hey, very direct. Buy my thing. I'm doing this. Buy it. Check it out. those are the ways. And I'm sure there's more, but in essence, what I want you to take from this is that on a very consistent basis, you have to inform your audience about what it is you're doing. And I would recommend mixing in all of these. It's like we don't always just sell the app on Brian's thing. We do, and we do it a lot because it's one of his best offers, but it's not the only thing we sell. We sell other things as well, workshops, and he does, in-person stuff as well. And this is across the board for all my clients. It's like, yes, you can have multiple different offers, and you should also do free stuff. We are living in a time where it's not enough just to have data on social media. Like, it's not enough just to have followers and subscribers. You need to have those people's data. You need to have their phone numbers. You need to have their emails. So if you're not building an email list, if you're not taking people off of these platforms and owning that data, that is a big mistake in your business. If you're not doing that, you don't really have a business, in my opinion. And that might sound harsh for some of you, but I want to serve you today. I want to protect you because you just never know what can happen on these platforms. And if you have one big kind of, fire hose and it's your only option and that fire hose goes away, what happens to your business? It's gone. And I've been in those scenarios. I've had that happen with my own business where it was like, holy shit, one change in the economy, one change in the law, maybe you share a content and it gets flagged and all of a sudden you're banned. Like, there's a million things that could happen. So to kind of make yourself safe in this environment, you have to start growing an email list. I know it sounds so like 2005, 2010, but it's like, no, you have to start doing this stuff because without it, you do not own this data. All right, next one. So, like I said, with all that said, who still has some limiting beliefs around selling? It's okay if you do. Cool. All right, next slide. Here's how to serve or sell like a pro. And I'm going to show you examples of this that Brian has personally done. But here's the essence of it. All you have to do is inform people. You don't even have to sell. I would argue Brian does not sell. I would say Brian just informs people. Hey, download my app. Check it out. Free for 7 days. Is that really selling? Not really. Not from the world I'm from. It's just informing. And that's the cool thing about being an influencer. That's one of the most unique things about a personal brand is that the sell is so easy. Do you want to know why? People like you. You've already sold them. They follow you. They like your wisdom. They like what you're about. So at a layer, they're already sold. Now, this is why personal brands will always outperform paid marketing every single day of the week in terms of a long-term ROI with the proper strategy. Because when you're going to cold markets, nobody knows you. You have to do so much to gain their trust. But if you have a follower, if you have somebody who already loves your stuff, already seeing you all every day, already has a personal connection to you, are they more likely to buy from you every single day of the week? We buy from people we trust. How many of you have bought something that somebody said, like maybe you follow an influencer or maybe there was a product an influencer was selling that was a recommendation and you bought it? All of us. Every single one of us. And the barrier to entry of our skepticism is way low. Oh, Bob likes that. I like Bob, therefore that product's vetted. Oh, I love Brian's content. He makes me laugh every single day. His hypnosis and meditations are fucking kick ass. I think I should go buy his app. Or at least download it and try it. I like Brian. Great. If you like Brian, you would also like Brian's app. Here's the problem. You have to be the one informing them about your app or about your product or about your service. Otherwise, they will not know it exists. So, the best way to sell is, like I said, value first. Add value through your marketing. Add value through your sales. And I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by this. All this simply translates to, I'll explain it first, then I'll show you an actual video, is that when you're selling, you want your content to, on the first end of it, the first part of it, be value driven. Whatever that means to you. When I say value driven, you're just driving value to your audience. To use Brian as the example, hey, here's this 2-minute meditation. I'm going to take you through this 2 minutes of value. This is just all hypothetical. At the end of that 2 minutes, there's a 10-second clip. Hey, if you enjoyed this meditation, you may also like my app. Go check it out. Link in bio. Free for 7 days. It's quite literally that simple. But we love to overcomplicate things. I promise you, all of you here, no matter how big or small your social media following is, if you just did that every third day on your in your business, on your social media, whether it's through your emails or your YouTube or your Instagram or your TikTok, I guarantee you would have more customers by the end of this month. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. The question is, will you do it? And that's really a question you have to answer. And it takes a little trust in the beginning. It takes a little faith that, it's not going to be perfect. You're not going to like everything. The hardest part about people posting on social media is their own insecurities. They get in their own way. But as soon as you just say, you know what? Screw this. This is not about me. I'm here to serve people. I'm here to give back. I'm here to contribute. That means I got to play this game a little bit. I got to go above and beyond to see and pierce through the noise of what's in social media today so that I can build my business and help people. Or reverse that. Help people so that I can build my business. Does that make sense? Cool. So check it out. I just want to show you a couple things Brian did. And I'll fast forward through these, but you'll get the idea. Essentially, Brian did exactly what I just told you about. This was a strategy him and I built together because one of his main concerns, which is a valid concern, which I honor and appreciate and agree with, is look, man, I don't want to be talking about my app every day. I don't want to be talking about my product every day. I don't want to, and then I was like, well, you don't got to do it every day. How about every third day? He's like, man, I don't know. I've never done this before. I was like, here, let's do this. We'll do the direct call to actions where you say, hey, go download my app, and that's the piece of content. But better than that, let's do the value added pieces of content. That's a lot easier for people in the beginning. Value add, app at the end. There's no pressure. So this is kind of what he created. I'll let you check it out. Oh.
What the heck?
Is it coming back?
I don't know.
Maybe we
Recording in progress.
Alright, he's coming back. The kid's gonna have
He's back!
back.
Anytime
Good.
we lost you at the edge of the Yogi example.
I just cliffhanger. I don't know what happened.
Love it. You gotta opt in if you want that. Yeah, link in bio. Going Anton, that may have been on purpose. Right,
No, it actually wasn't.
You're back.
Yep. We'll throw it up.
Okay.
Check. So just to reiterate, I don't know how far you heard. I was saying that, with Brian, value add, and then at the end, call to action, offer, sell, or best said, serve. Value, then serve more. Like I said, selling is service. Service is selling. If you don't think that, you have to reevaluate what it is you sell. When I do business coaching, or I run my social media agency, or I do my coaching unrelated to social media or any of that, just totally different industry. Like I said, last year, I was just like, you know what? I want to help people transform their lives. I have a ton of tools. Let me host these retreats. So I started doing them. And there was never a moment in my head where I was like, oh man, like I can't make somebody pay me $2,500 to join my thing. I never had that energy in my body for a second. And the reason why is because I know and believe in what I sell. If you don't believe in what you sell, you have to reevaluate your offer. Now, do we all get in our head sometimes? We overthink this shit? Yes. So take that with a grain of salt. But in the reality, it's like, do you believe in what you do or not? If you do, if you know, who feels confident in their offer, that your offer enhances the quality of people's lives? All of your hands should be up. And if they're not, you have to reevaluate your business. And that's okay. Businesses go through these cycles and seasons. And you personally, as you grow and change, you're going to make different offers and different things. But at the end of the day, the reason you might not be selling so hard or doing it more is because at the back of your mind, you're like, I don't know if this really helps people. And if that's the case, reevaluate your offer. You're not a bad person. It just, you need to sell yourself first. If you're not sold, it's going to be really hard for you to convince somebody else. So back to Brian. And this is the best way to do it, in my opinion. Value add, sell at the end. I'm going to fast forward this because it's like a 5-minute video, but you'll get the gist of it. Check it out.
I am a certified hypnotherapist. So I use a lot of hypnotherapy in the shit I do to help you fuckers out. So we're going to do a little hypnosis. All right? If you're down for that, stay here. If you don't like that shit, get the fuck out of here. Everybody can do this if you're just willing to do it. And your unconscious mind always protects you. So I'm not going to make you cluck like a chicken or do anything that you don't fucking want to do because your subconscious mind always...
All right. This is, there's still more, but he is selling in this. Who here was drawn in? Who didn't feel like they were being sold? Who felt like, holy crap, I'm about to do something really cool? We all felt that. This is called value-added marketing. What you're seeing here, and this is what I teach to all my my people I work with in my agency. This is like me giving you my business right now. This is what I teach people how to do. Value-added marketing. Now, we go back to the video, but Brian essentially goes through, and it's like a 5-minute thing, but he goes through, he adds a lot of value, makes you laugh, and that's Brian's thing. If you're not like a comedian, don't do that. Be you. But you got to find who you are, and all of you. Like, most people, when it comes to their personal brand, they run away from their quirks, and their quirks make them unique. Like, that's what makes you you. So it's like, don't try to be like everybody else. Like, so many people, when they hear, like, when I get referrals and this stuff, they're like, I want to be the next Joe Dispenza. I want to be the next Tony Robbins. Like, I used to say this shit too, and I was like, no, you don't. You don't want to be that. You want to be you. Because that's not you. That's them. But you can be just as big as them if you own all of yourself. So with Brian and with this ad and with doing this video, he essentially went through, he took people through hypnosis. And then at the end, he said, hey, if you like this, go download my Sleep with Yogi Brian app. And guess what happened? He got downloads. Oh my gosh. Magic, right? No. It's simply value-added marketing. That's all it comes down to. So I have a question for you guys. And you can put it in the chat. Why do you follow the people you follow? Put it in the chat. Why do you follow the people you follow? They create emotion in me, entertainment, education. What else? Because they make me feel good. Okay. Learn from them, education, something in common, inspirational, yes. Authenticity, nice. Now, because we like their personality, their charisma, yes. Relatable, value, they have what I need, yes. Yes, these are all true. Now, think of your absolute favorite person you follow. Like your favorite person. And maybe throw it in the chat. I'm curious who you guys like. Who's your favorite influencer? Or your favorite, social media person? I hate the word influencer. It's It's not really, I think, the best word. Let's see. Who do you got? Who's your favorite? Don't be afraid to put Brian if he is. Who's your favorite? Okay. Russell Brand. James Wedmore. Cool. The reason I ask you this is because, and if you didn't put a name, that's okay, but think about your favorite person. If they were doing maybe an event, if they were hosting a workshop, if they had an app and they didn't tell you about it, would you kind of be annoyed? Like, what the hell? Dude, you have an app that I can consume your content every single day? I didn't know that. Or, holy shit, you're doing an event and you didn't tell me? And you don't even know them. But you feel as a follower like, damn, I would have went to that. I would have done that thing. Your favorite person, really think about this, because I'm going somewhere with this. If your favorite person was doing something that you would pay them money for because you know you're going to get value out of it, but they didn't tell you about it, you would be annoyed. I know all of you would be. We've all been there. Like, holy shit, Dr. Joe did a seminar. I didn't even know. I would have went. It was in my hometown. We've all been there. Now, here's the reality. Your followers, no matter how big or small, I don't care if you have 10 people on your email list, those 10 people still want to hear about what you're doing. They want to know what you're into. They want to know your latest products. They want to know your latest things. Just like your favorite influencer, you would want to know. See, a lot of what the work I do is nothing too magical. It's about reframing what's happening in here. You have to look at yourself like a Brian, like a Joe Dispenza, or whoever, some of your models are. You have to see yourself as that, because if you have a personal brand, a lot of people, if you're not already at 7 figures in your personal brand, you have a promotion. You don't really have a business yet, and that's okay. And you can turn it into a business, but you really have a promotion. So if you're not promoting, if you're not talking about your offer, if you're not informing your audience and finding clever ways to sell, you're going to be held back. And less about you, you're going to not serve people at the highest level. Who in here all wants to serve more? All of us. So serve more. Like, get out of your own way. It's quite literally that simple. People say, oh, I don't know how to make social media content. I don't know what to do. Here's what you do. Here's my little hack that will save you so much time, headache, and frustration. Make content on your iPhone about things in your work and what you do with people. Go to Instagram, hit the captions button, edit the captions so they're accurate, and post the thing. It's quite literally that simple. If you're like, oh, it's got to be 30 seconds or 60 seconds, get out of your own way. What I want you to do is connect with your audience. Bring them value. It is so insane how easy it is to actually grow a social media following when you have something real to add. Because there's so much bullshit in this world today, more than ever, because everybody has a voice. But the people who have the most legit stuff inside of them are always the most hesitant to share it. And I've come across these people my entire life. And I'm like, dude, like, you're losing to that guy who's like such a half-ass coach and like you actually change people's lives. But you're scared to talk about it. You're scared to step into that. So I'm like, dude, just move out of your own way. You have people to help. You have people to serve. So if you want another hack where you're like, you know what, I really want to go all in on this and I really want to build out my social media, this is what I recommend you do. You can literally go to something called Upwork.com. All of you can write this down. Upwork.com. It is a place where it's a marketplace for contractors and freelancers who know how to do social media. You can get somebody super solid on your team for like $500 a month, $1,000 a month. I'm doing some work with Taz right now, and this was kind of the session, the segment we're in the coaching I'm doing with him is to hire a social media person. And I was like, here's what we do. We wrote the ad and boom, we put it out. The next day, literally, or like within 12 hours, there was a person in Taz's inbox who specialized in his industry, aka DJs, but also knew how to make social media content. And he also had like audio engineering experience. Less than $1,000 a month for 30 videos. And he's spiritual. So their values are aligned. There's no excuse. Now, some of you are saying, well, I can't invest in my social media. That's why I gave you the first strategy. Just post. It's not about being perfect. It's not about perfection. It's about just progress. It's about serving. It's about, hey, am I going to share something that adds value to people's lives today? It's that simple. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't have to be perfect. I am telling you, all of that stuff is so relevant. People's like, oh, it's got to be the perfect picture and the perfect. No, it doesn't. Your audience doesn't care about that. They want to feel your heart. They want to feel your soul. They want to know. They want to extract value from you. That's why they follow you. That's the only reason why they follow you. They could give a shit if the photo looks really good. Now, you can add that stuff later as you get bigger and you get the momentum. But my goal for you, like I said at the beginning of this, is I want you to get into action. And that's going to mean getting out of your own way. That's going to mean, you know what? I'm so done of not like stepping into that personal brand world that I'm finally ready to do this thing. Because I'm telling you, if you commit and you go all in on this and you use all your free time, and I firmly believe this, all your free time outside of running your business and doing your things, all your free time should go into social media. I'm telling you, it is that important. I was saying this back in 2020, but now it's almost 2024, and I'm saying like that is just progressively getting more real. And I know it's like, everybody's doing it. Exactly. So find a way to pierce through the noise like Brian has. Brian will, like, as long as he stays focused and does his things, his business will never, from here on out, struggle financially. Ever. Ever. Like, do you know how good that feels for an individual? I tell him all the time, like, dude, you got a money printer. It's funny, but it's true. 700,000 followers just on one platform in his pocket. Brian is nothing special. I love Brian. But he's nothing special. Truly. So, all Brian decided to do is like, yo, I'm going to stop getting in my own way and post more, get more creative, have more fun. If you look at his content evolution, he just looks like he's having more and more fun as the things go. He's making more jokes, swearing more, getting creative in all these different ways. It's like, yeah, it doesn't have to, there's no one size fits all. So stop trying to be that person. Like, just be yourself. I promise you, yourself is more than enough if you give yourself the credit to really see who you are. You're more awesome than you think. And like I said at the beginning of this, believe it or not, those same beliefs of like, I don't want to be that person. That's not who I am. Why would anyone think I'm so great? The Joe Dispenzas of the world, I know them all. They all have those same beliefs. Truly. Like, you would be so flabbergasted if you have seen what I've seen behind the scenes when they're off stage. They're humans. All of them. All of them. They are all humans, just like you, just like me. So it should make you feel kind of proud, like, oh, Tony Robbins has limiting beliefs about social media? Dr. Joe? Bob Proctor? Like, Michael Beckwith? Aubrey Marcus? All these guys, all these girls? Oh my gosh, they sometimes wonder if they're great. Yeah, because they're a human being. We all go through that. But when you can get out of that and say, you know what, it's not about me, I'm here to serve, that's when they all come alive. That's why they're in the business they're in. That's why you're in the business you're in. Who here, when you're working, when you're serving somebody else, you feel more alive or less alive? More alive. More alive. So bring that same mentality into your social media, because I'm here to tell you, you stay with this, you find a creative strategy, you go all in, you stay consistent, you will break through that noise. And now your social media can evolve into something way bigger than yourself, where it's like, Brian, I tell him all the time, it's like, dude, you got a big responsibility, man. There's 700,000 people on one platform, multiple, million plus across all the platforms. That's a lot of people. So what does that force him to do? He's like, I got to step up my game. I got to keep growing. I got to stay on the edge. And wow, what a great honor. Everywhere he goes now, he gets stopped. Like in real life. People see him at the grocery store in these places and they stop him. And a lot of celebrities I've worked with in the past, they hate that. They hate getting stopped because they have the wrong meaning of what it means. Like, oh, this person they don't know me. They just want a picture. But when you really own it and you say, you know what, I've built this. I'm going to use this opportunity to make this person's day freaking awesome. They know me. I don't know them, but for some reason they look up to me and I'm going to use that as a way to shine my light. And I think that's a really, really beautiful way to live. But bring it back. You are a celebrity in your own world already. Yeah, you might just be a smaller one, but you got to act like that. You can use your platforms as a way to truly influence this world in a beautiful way and turn it into a business. So I hope with all this, and I want to keep some time for Q&A and everything, but I hope with all of this, you kind of feel reinvigorated to revisit your social media, because I know you've all thought about it. I know in the back of your mind, all of you are like, I know I need to do this. I just don't want to. Like, I know it's necessary. But like, I'm here to tell you, stop bullshitting yourself. Like, just get out of your own way and say, you know what? The reason I don't post is because I'm making it about me. That's the reason you don't post. And you're not a selfish person, but you're making it about you, which is why you don't do it. If you make it about them, if you make it about your audience, if you make it about a way of adding more value, you won't overthink it so much. It gets overthought when you're like, oh, like, why do I look? Oh, what do I say? No. What do people need to hear today? How can your work, your expertise inspire, influence, impact, whatever words you want to use, the people who follow you? And you just lead with that energy and it shines through. That's what cuts through the noise. Maybe that's a 3-minute video. Maybe it's a 30-second video. Maybe it's a 5-second video. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. What I want you to do is move out of your way and just start. Who's in with that? You guys in? All right, cool. So I know we got 30 more minutes, so I want to make sure we have time for everything that we had planned on the agenda, Sonny, and get some questions with Brian and myself, as well as any conversations. I want this to be conversational. Anything I can serve you guys, any questions you have, I'm happy to answer.
Awesome. Anton, thank you so much. That was I made a lot of notes. That was very, very eye-opening. So if anybody has questions, please put them in the chat, just so we don't get super chaotic with everybody here. I'll just call on you that you can ask your question. Does that sound good? So Deanna, go for it. If you want to say your question out loud.
So I'm super active on social media. TikTok is actually my platform where I get the most movement, and
Cool.
and of course videos, and they range anywhere from 5 seconds to like you can do up to 10 minutes now. But what are your thoughts versus video versus images? What are you seeing is getting the most traction and where on social media?
Yeah, I mean, video.
Converting followers to sales.
Yep, there you go. Video is by far winning in a very big way, but it doesn't mean photos and still images are obsolete. My big thing is like, find a way to mix it all in. Find a way to do video. Obviously I'd focus on videos, but don't just say, okay, 100% video, no photo. Because I think mixing it in is a great way to do it. Another thing you can do, this isn't as popular as it was earlier this year, but you could turn a photo into a video as well. And I'd recommend doing all three of those: videos, photos to videos, and then just photos. A good way to utilize photos is the carousel feature, where you find a way to add value through like a carousel where there's multiple photos. You can even include a video in that carousel as well, and get creative with it. So my whole thing is like, do it all, do everything. Because if anyone tells you they know exactly how the algorithm is going to work every single time and it needs to be this cookie cutter way every way, they're lying through their teeth. There is strategies and principles that work, and we've seen that with people like Mr. Beast and him recreating so many different viral videos with his format. But when it comes to smaller brands and these things, you got to break through the noise by doing it all and being authentically you.
Cool. So Glenn had a question. Is there one social media platform that is more important than the other? Glenn, feel free to elaborate, but I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah. What do you think, Anton?
Yeah. So, I mean, yes, actually. And it will be totally contingent on your business and what you do. So if you don't mind, what is your business?
Sorry about that. Meditation.
Oh, meditation. Okay, great.
Meditation and hypnotherapy.
Is there a specific type of audience you lean towards? Is it high achievers? Is it, moms? Like,
Mums, typically 35 upwards, 35 to 60, mainly female, I guess.
okay. So for that, I'd say Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, kind of the traditional. But the reason I ask about because if it's like a professional person, maybe more corporate, high achiever type, then I'd say lean into LinkedIn. But if that's not your thing and you're just kind of getting started and you're early in this, double down on what we already know will work and where, women who are moms and whatnot, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. And don't overthink it. Like when people hear, oh my God, 3 platforms, it's more of like one platform repurposed to all of them in the beginning. Once you start getting bigger, then you start, making specific content for specific platforms, but all that stuff comes later.
So initially you could create one video and post on the 3 platforms.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Denise, do you recommend different posts for each platform? I think you just answered that, right? That just start with just repurpose for all different platforms. Denise, anything else to elaborate there?
No, I appreciate you answering that already, because that's usually, I was trying to do different things for everything and I just didn't really have a whole lot of direction. So now I'm just repurposing everything and it just feels more fluid and I feel like I can get more done that way.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Posting on social media alone, just the thought daily, is overwhelming for a lot of people. So you want to create a strategy of content creation. Like, I recommend this to everybody. It's like, have like a weekly content creation day. If you're like, I'm going to make a post every single day, the reality is that most days you won't, because it's going to go to the bottom of the priority list because it's not a priority for you yet. So, you want to be consistent. The algorithm loves consistency. So if on a Saturday or a Friday or a Sunday, whatever, you want to make like a ton of content for the week, and really it's only 5 videos, really, if you think about it, Monday through Friday, it's not that much. You can bang that out in like a couple hours. So I'd recommend chunking it like that. And then you can use tools as well where it like distributes across all the platforms with like one upload. That's there too.
Cool. All right. Next we got Vanessa. Is Facebook still having impact? I have 230,000 followers, but somehow I don't see any interaction there. And once you answer that, I have a follow-up there too. Vanessa, do you want to elaborate on that at all for Anton? No, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I just noticed is kind of the only interactions I have on Facebook is on static, and only when I have pictures. But people with my reels that goes to Facebook is no likes, is no comments, is nothing, and then it's just the little pictures, and I just don't know if it's still working. I just wonder if it's still valuable to have, this platform. Seems just a number just now, but it's not giving anything back on Facebook.
What is the engagement on like the photos
Uh,
roughly?
roughly, I would say not that much. It's just maybe 20, like, I would have uh, let me see, if I have in a day, if my photos, you have 100 likes and some comments and they share. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's still something. I mean, 100 likes is not small. I know it's small compared to how many followers you do have, but are you staying consistent? Is this based off of data and facts, or is it just like you kind of post sometimes and you're not getting the engagement, so you don't really post that much?
I do post every day I
Oh, you
do a
do
reel,
post every day.
and photos every day as well. So every day, every single day, I'm trying to be consistent. And just now having a call to action every day to download my app.
Okay.
Uh, and I could see, I was quite, since last week, all my reels, I'm using IE. I get my message, and then make a call to action um, to this message. And it's been great because then I get a very cool call to action that matches to my message. And over a sudden, I can see the downloads increasing. I noticed that.
So it is working.
But
Maybe
back
just
to Instagram, I think I don't know. I don't know. I just know interactions on my reels on Facebook.
okay. Well, maybe with Facebook, you have to find a new innovative way to connect with the audience. Maybe it's less photos, and I don't know your content, so maybe make it more raw. Like I don't know if it's super edited. I mean, you have 230,000 followers, so I'm assuming you have a pretty good social media grasp. But maybe you need to connect with your audience in a more organic, raw way where it's not so structured and it's not so like hey, just go download my app. Maybe it's time to provide more value in a new way. So I recommend trying that because if you have 230,000 followers, I mean, that's significant as long as they're real and you didn't do anything like that in the past. But if you have that, there's a way to revive it, and that's going to take some creativity and things like that. But it's not dead. Keep posting consistently. I'm happy you're doing that, but switch it up. If you're 30, 60 days in and you're not seeing any change in the engagement, maybe it's time to revisit the strategy of the type of content you're posting and see if that kind of revives the audience in a new way. Another good thing too, Vanessa, that's working really well on Facebook right now is find videos that are similar to your niche of what you do that have gone viral in other places on Instagram or Facebook or things like that, and repost them. This was a strategy I recently started doing for some of my clients to help revive things, and it's been working really, really well. Facebook is going through like a really interesting change in the past couple months, and they're really reviving it. Like the platform as a whole, fan pages are massive right now. Like you can like the algorithm over there on Facebook with the reels is like it's reminding me a lot like TikTok. So there's a lot of opportunity to grow. So that might be something you want to throw in maybe once a week into your content strategy.
Quick follow up there. Do you mean, Anton, reposting just raw or like reacting? I know reacts are pretty popular too, right, on TikTok and Reels.
Yeah.
Do you mean both?
I was referring to just reposting. I'd start there, but reactions is great as well. And you can do both, and I'd recommend doing both. I actually just made a piece of content doing that for myself. So the reactions are great because if you know a video, if it's already gone viral and now you're reacting to it, it's like you can almost guarantee it's going to have good engagement because it already went viral. So it's kind of proof of concept.
Interesting. Okay, next we got, let's see here. I've been checking off as we go. All right, we got Sam. When hiring someone to help with social media, what tasks do you recommend having them do? Actual filming, ideation, editing? Sam, feel free to elaborate.
It all depends. You know, it depends on, number one, your budget, what you can afford, your logistics. There's a lot of things there. But I mean, ideally, you want somebody who can capture and edit. I mean, if you can have an in-house person who's like actually coming and filming for you, that's great. Obviously, that's something I would invest in as your business grows. I don't know where your business is at, but I'm assuming it's doing pretty good if you're thinking of things like this. But if you want to make it really simple for yourself, find a way to capture it on your own and then give it to an editor who can do all the other like time consuming stuff. Now, again, if you want to hire an editor or a filmer to come in and film, that's great too. Have like content chunks per week where it's like, hey, every Wednesday from 9 to 3 we shoot, and it's like that'll give you like multiple weeks of content. You could do that as well. But what you want is you want the end goal to be like you're posting content daily. So usually that's going to come with creating a strategy around how you film or when you film. And then number two, it's going to make sure that he has the right instructions on what you want to edit. Now, when you're hiring somebody, the biggest, easiest way to do this, and again, I run a social media agency, so I hire editors, and this is a constant weekly thing for us. You want to give your editors, your new editors who you're just hiring, examples of content that performs well in the niche you're in, just so they have a framework. It's like they're not gonna, maybe copy it all, but you want them to have an idea of the type of content that does well so they can edit your videos in terms of that style. And it's really easy. Literally, you could do it in like an hour of research. Like look at your competitors, people in your industry, people who have big social media, people who's gone viral. Say, look, I want to make content like this. We need to go in this direction. This is clearly working. This guy's getting 100,000 views per video. So that's what I'd kind of recommend. I know it's a little all over the place, but I hope that helps.
Cool. There's a couple other questions, but I want to get a quick question in there. I've had experience working with a few people who, had a great Instagram page, grew like crazy, and then it got to a point where it's just either saturated in terms of followers / engagement, or it just started to decline, right? If you're just kind of doing a diagnosis, and I'll try to keep this person anonymous. There's a few people like this, but like,
of course,
I don't want to release any like specific information, confidential things. But if you're doing a diagnosis, and I'm sure you come across this, what do you think that it has to do with? Is that like a volume of content or authenticity? For that kind of person, what do you recommend? I know it's very,
very, very general, but I mean, at the end of the day, if you're not providing value to your followers, they're going to unfollow you. Like if it's always selling, that's going to get redundant. Nobody wants to always be sold. But if it's like, let's look at Brian, value added, good content every single day, like, yeah, you're going to get a handful of unfollows, but you're going to get more follows than unfollows. So usually when people say that, they're stuck in a story like, oh, I've tried it for so long. Well, how long? Well, 60 days, like, okay, in the grand scheme of life, that's like a blip in that's like a second. So it's a lot of times people are just stuck in a story. They're a little burnt out. So the reality is like, you just got to get into action. And if you keep trying to do the same thing and expect a different result, it's called insanity, right? Albert Einstein said that. So you have to find a way to innovate it in your own unique way. And I love using Brian as an example. I use him all the time as an example because it's like so classic. Hey, fucker, like you want to pierce through the noise real fast? That is a great punchline. Now, you're not Brian, but there is a way to do that with your brand and your business as well. And that can come in different forms. It's not always a punchline. Maybe it's the intensity or the unique kind of way you form a sentence that draws people in. There's a lot of ways to do it. And the biggest thing is like, just get out of your head, get back into action and try new things. It's like, if you try, like if you want to lose weight and you try one diet and it doesn't work, is it that losing weight is impossible? No. Maybe you're doing the wrong thing. Maybe instead of just focusing on eating, you need to also hit the gym. Like, you got to switch it up. And I think when you lead with that, you'll find a breakthrough if you're persistent. Most people, I've seen it so many times. We've all done it. It's like the 3 feet from gold. It's like you're digging. It's so hard. It's so strenuous. Most people stop right on the edge of that breakthrough because usually, as we all know, from an energy perspective, when you're pushing, you feel like you're getting nowhere. What's really happening is you're about to go through a breakthrough, but the wall is hard to break down. But you got to keep pushing against that. Like I believe a lot in free will, and we have the power to change and create circumstances, but that doesn't come by inaction. It's like you don't give up. You keep trying and you do whatever it takes. And in all aspects of your business, not just social media. It's like this is universal to life. If your relationship isn't going good and you're like, well, like I've tried everything. Really? Have you tried everything? Maybe you've tried 1 or 2 things the same time and it hasn't worked. It's time to try a third thing. And I think if you come at life with that tenacity and that kind of energy, it's impossible not to win. It's impossible not to serve. It's just like impossible. So I think if you attack life with that frame of reference, you'll never have an issue.
Super motivating. What would be your top 3 things to convert your followers to buyers from Deanna?
Great question. I think, to recap the talk, it's number 1, find a way to add more value to your audience than anyone else. If you just do that and you do that long enough, people will DM you and be like, I want to work with you. Like, you won't even have to tell them. They'll start asking you. Now, that is a strategy I would use if your business didn't rely on social media. That's kind of what I did, because I had a company, and I have a company that does very well. I've owned it for a long time, and I didn't need to necessarily make money from my personal brand. So for so long, it was just like literally 6-7 months of like, all right, I'm doing this. I never sold a thing because it was just like, I don't need to. But eventually people were like, wait, I saw you that thing on your story. Like, how do I get in your group? Like, where's your website? Like they start to ask questions because my content is consistently bringing their life's value. So if you attack your life with like, okay, every single day, I'm going to find a way to add value to my audience. That would be number 1. Number 2 is like, okay, once I find a way to add value, how can I uniquely add my, app or my, workshop or retreat or whatever to the end of this piece of content? So now you're doing the value added marketing. A third way to convert buyers into followers or followers into buyers, I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do. You could maybe create a new lead magnet where it's like change up the way they're getting into your universe. So a lot of people, they like to go scarce on their lead magnet. And that's just like a mentality thing. And that is one of the worst things to do. You actually want to go overly abundant with the mentality in your lead magnet, where it's like, I'm going to give so much value to this person for free to get them results in advance that better their life, so that I pierce through the noise and then they say, whoa, they just gave me this thing for free, which is like almost as good as things I've paid for, if not better than things I've paid for in the past. What does that do to your brand? What does that do to your business? It makes you pierce through the noise. Like, holy shit, this person actually brings me value and it was actually free. I wonder what their paid thing will do for me. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. If I'm being frank, this is a lead magnet. Who here is getting immense value from me? I didn't get paid for this. Nobody paid me. None of you paid me. But I'm here doing that. So subconsciously, you're thinking, holy shit, what would happen if I worked with this guy? You know your business would transform. I don't need to tell you that. You know that. That's the power of a good offer that's free. That actually, like, so many people, they're like, oh, like, get out of that scarcity bullshit, man. It's 2023. Come on, we're all abundant. Like, we know the universe operates off abundance. So if you get into that and you operate with that mentality with your lead magnet, dude, you're going to pierce through the noise, and it's going to make you build a really monster of a business. That's how I built my entire company. My entire company was built around providing more value than anybody else through all my clients. Now, they had paid me, but even before they paid me, like my first kind of proposition was, I will run your social, like, listen to how irresistible this offer is. This is a free offer. I don't do this anymore, but I will run your social media for 2 weeks for free. No strings attached. Is that irresistible? Like, is that something someone would pay thousands of dollars for? Yes. This guy's doing it for free. And by the way, I didn't and don't at that time, I still don't have a website for my social media. Didn't have a website. So I had like no like concrete credibility. It was all like referral, word of mouth, people trusting my words. And it was like, whoa, that's bold. You go in 2 weeks, crush it. Give them, you don't hold back. You pour it on. You give them everything. Now, are you going to get all of them? No. But you'll get enough of them where you will build something massive, which is what I did. And it was like my free thing was better than people's paid things. So when people weighed my services compared to the guy that wanted to charge, $2,500, $3,000 a month, mine were double, triple, quadruple, 5x that at times. They were like, well, Anton and his business understands my needs better than anybody else, so I'm going to pay him a premium because we haven't even started and the guy's over-delivered. Holy shit, I can't imagine what would happen if I hired him. So I really, really try to live with that principle in every area of my life, and it just works. It really, really works. And as, things with marketing and social media gets more intense and there's more competition, more creatives out there, everybody's becoming, it's like I said, we're moving into this creator economy. Small business is really transforming right now. And it's a beautiful thing, but it takes all of us stepping up to pierce through that noise, to have that breakthrough, to make it to multiple 6 and 7 figures. You have to find a way to add more value. And if you're scared, if I always tell people, give away your best stuff for free. Just try that. Try that on for a little bit, because people are going to pay you for a different reason. I could sit here right now and I know my ideal client. I could sit here right now, give all of you my exact frameworks, exactly what I do for my social media clients. I could give you my whole business. I practically have, in a sense. And there will still be a certain amount of you. It doesn't matter that I'm teaching you. You don't want me to teach you. You want me to do it for you. So I'll do it for you. You'll just pay for that. And it's like, that's because I understand my audience really well. I've been doing this for long enough to understand that. So you have to look at your business like that, because what I've done here today, I hope I have been an example, is like I pierce through the noise maybe of other social media people you've heard in the past or whatever, because I am here providing it all. I have nothing. I'm not trying to, it's not a bait and switch. It's real value. If you think this is really valuable, great, let's have a conversation. Maybe I can help you. I know I can help you. Maybe we're fit to work together. Maybe we're not. Either way, I have faith in the goodwill of energy and how the universe works, that comes around, goes around. So people say that, but not a lot of people walk that talk. And I think when you start walking that talk, your business really will transform. It's just like, I think it's just a matter of law from God or the universe to make that possible. So don't be scarce. Value-added content, value-added marketing, and innovate your lead magnet. I know it's a long, drawn-out answer, but I hope it makes sense.
Long, but a lot of value. So thank you so much.
Awesome.
Anybody? I know we're coming up to time here. Anybody have anything else? Say thank you to Anton. Any questions? Anton, I got a quick one for you.
Yeah.
For us, Breakthrough's been running and managing apps for the last 4 years. A key day in terms of app sales has been Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Black Friday. And the way we approach that is we basically just from like before Black Friday, from like the Monday, we say we'll just start promoting the sale, and then just keep a limited day sale, and then really promote and just send emails every single day. Any tips that you can give around getting on social media, cutting through the noise of promoting a Black Friday sale? Like last year, remember Yogi B did like, "Hey fuckers, 70% off the Yogi B app." Any tips in general that you can give that you've seen work that you're looking to this time around?
Got it. So yeah, I think Black Friday you can do like a sale in terms of giving taking money off of the price, but the more I've grown in business and the more I've actually built companies and seen the psychology of how these things play out, I have found it's better to, instead of subtracting like your price, find a way to add more value, but for like the same price. So it's kind of a reverse of a thought. I think Black Friday may be the one outlier, but I'm a really big component of like turning your brand into like a luxury type model. Now, I believe in this because I think the industry I'm in, coaches, spiritual leaders, people who are doing good work, they should be compensated very fairly for that. And in order to do that, you have to kind of own the luxury model of business, which is like Louis Vuitton versus Nike. Would Louis Vuitton ever run a Black Friday sale? No. Why? That devalues what it is they sell. Now, could they? They could, but it would ruin their whole business. Now, Nike does, I'm sure, Black Friday sales, but Nike's business compared to Louis Vuitton is in two different universes. Yes, they're both multi-billion-dollar companies, but from a statistical standpoint, Louis Vuitton's margins are through the roof, so they make more profit. And I think if you look at your business like that, you'll think twice before doing a sale and instead say, instead of a sale, I'm going to add bonuses that make the main thing so irresistible. And because some people get in the bad habit of like training their audience for a sale, and you don't want to do that. That'll hurt the business. So again, I think Black Friday might be an outlier, but I would never ever, like under no exceptions, ever discount my coaching or my social media services. Like I just would never do that. What I would do if someone was on the fence, like, hey, we'll run your Instagram, we'll run your TikTok, we'll run your Facebook for this price. You know what? I like you. I like what you do. I'll throw in YouTube for the same price. Then they're like, oh shit, okay. So that's not devaluing my services. It's just adding another layer of value for the same price. And I think, no matter how big or small your business is, that kind of psychology will serve you well long term as you grow.
Super refreshing perspective, man. Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for your time. Anton, I'll let you have the last word, man, and then we'll end on this.
No, I'm good. I appreciate all of you. Feel free to reach out, schedule a call. I hope you do, and I'll be looking. I'm gonna get everyone's social media from Sunny here, and I'm gonna do some homework and see who's acting on the strategies. So I'm excited to see what you guys build, and it's closer than you think. Like when you really crack the code of social media, your business changes. You have one post go viral, you have multiple posts go viral, you have a new business. I have seen it one too many times to know it's not real. It's 100% real. So pierce through the noise, step into your own greatness. You're here to do big things and get out of your own way. Serve people. That's what you guys are all here for. So I appreciate everyone. Thank you for your time. Until next time.
Awesome. Thank you guys.